Hello, everyone. My name's Hank Setala,
And I'm Sean Edward Phillips.
and we're here with Power of Possibilities. Welcome, 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 everyone. And we are here with our second Tuesday of the month, Power of Possibilities. And if it's your first time joining us, there's no rules. We are willing to go anywhere where the conversation takes us. If you want to ask a question or make a comment, we will kind of speak to that. And we draw from all kinds of different modalities. And of course, I'm Hank, and here's Sean. And I just have to share one thing real quick. So, Sean, why don't you say something?
Yeah. So good evening, everybody. Good to be on live with you all, and if you're on the recording, hello as well. Just how's everybody doing today? What's going on? What's up in your worlds? Here to have a bit of invitation to the power of possibilities with Hank and myself here. Tonight we'll be chatting about a topic that maybe you bring to the table with your question or comments. Yeah, looking forward to a good evening.
Yeah, and almost every Tuesday, Sean and I stream today's Power Possibilities. First Tuesday's CWG, and then we're doing a book club. So if you want to join us for any of those things, that's great. Is there anything particular on your mind today, Sean, that we want to start with? I know we always talk about questions, so like we could just throw that.
Yeah, we we have this thing about asking questions. We'd like to ask questions because they empower us to have more possibilities. They're really the key to a lot of stuff, especially with what's going on right now. So I would invite anyone who's listening or watching to put some questions around anything that's going on in your world and what else is possible.
Yeah. Well, the two key
A crowd
questions.
favorite, a Sean
Yeah,
favorite.
the Sean favorite. And how does it get any better than that or any better than this? And really, with the way that the world is right now, these two questions could help unstick you no matter what your perception of your reality is in that moment, whether it was just a riot happening or who you don't want to be president wins or whatever the case is. What else is possible? How does it get any better than this as an invitation to the universe to show you? And that's where the power of the question really is, because it basically puts this energy out into the universe that starts something that then brings other things to your life. And that it seems so simple, but that's really that's all that there is to it, is just simply ask and then wait and start to choose along with whatever you're putting out to the universe.
Yeah, it's sort of a I just got this awareness. It's like a prod. It's like you're kind of probing the universe for a possibility in a sense when you ask a question. You're like, hey universe, I have this question. What's possible here? Can it get any better? Can you show me please? And you're kind of just prodding the universe a bit, and the universe is like, yes, here you go. And then it comes to, being able to receive it.
Well, that is a really good point, because sometimes we'll ask a question, or we even have like a certainty that, oh yeah, this is going to work out for me, the universe will provide or God will provide, whatever the case is. But then our unwillingness to receive it because of how it shows up, we get caught up with the how it shows up instead of that it shows up, that we completely miss receiving in the first place. And I think I've said this analogy before. Do you remember the one where I talk about the guy who, like, there's a flood coming, and he's like, God's going to
Yeah.
save me. So this flood comes, and he's like, oh, no, no, I don't need help. God's going to save me. And he's like, God, I know you're going to save me, right? And so he passes by on a boat. As the water goes up to the second level, another boat comes. He's like, nope, nope, don't need your help. God's going to save me. And then he's up on his roof. Helicopter comes, and they throw down the ladder. He's like, nope, don't need your ladder. God's going to save me. And then he dies. And when he goes up and he says, God, what was up? I thought you were going to save me. And he says, well, I sent you two boats and a helicopter. What else could I do? I can't make you take it. And that's where the willingness to receive whatever shows up, or how it shows up, instead of getting caught up that it might not be in the exact package that you might have thought it would come in, is a huge thing just to be willing to receive.
Yeah, totally. I just love that anecdote so much where it's like, please, God's gonna save me, and God's going like, come on, like I sent you 2 boats and a helicopter. Like, what do you, what do you like? How do you think
Or,
you're gonna get saved? You still have to, step on the boat, like.
or similar one, if you put out to the universe, I would love to win the lottery, and you never buy a ticket. It makes the universe that maybe in another lifetime in the future you'll find like a winning lottery ticket on the ground, and you'll win. But it makes it much harder. So that also brings us to the next thing. You've asked a question, universe, what else is possible to bring ease into my life, right? And then things show up. Your willingness to receive it is part of it, but then also doing your own part. I use the analogy like when you're rowing the boat, right? If you've asked the universe to bring you something, it starts rowing to take you to it, or it starts rowing to bring you the experience. But if you don't do your part and put your oar in the water, all you do is go in circles. So it's important that as you use these tools and ask questions and gain awarenesses, that you start doing your part and actually taking action and congruent action towards whatever it is that you're looking to bring into your life.
Yeah, you got to put in some action sometimes to actually choose the change. Which can be a fickle and funny thing.
I know I don't think you do actual readings, but like if you ask any psychic,
I do reading all the time online. I have some books. Or are you talking about? Oh, spiritual readings.
Yeah, like psychic readings. If you ask any reader, like people always ask about job, money, finance, and if you tap in, like they're looking, well, I get a new job, and you know that they're not even like looking or doing a resume. They're just idly waiting for something to be delivered in their lap. So they might have put out to the universe, hey, I would love a change, but they're doing no action on their part to create with the universe, and they're just waiting for it to happen. And 3 years from now, maybe they'll get laid off and they'll be forced to look for another job, and then they'll be in a better situation. But what if, when you asked a question, universe, what would it take for me to have more ease in my life around money with a new job? Or whatever question you want to ask, then start taking the actions of what's my part? What could I do to support the universe and bring this to me with more ease? And everything you do, you line up and you stay congruent with whatever you're looking to create in your life. So, and we're kind of harping on you do your part, but really that is such a huge component of it.
Do your part. You sure are smart. Isn't that a song?
I've never heard that song. It is now. You just made it up.
No, it's totally a song. We can do anything. That was the Blues Clues song.
I've never watched Blues Clues, really.
It's the Blues
I remember
Clues
the theme song, Blues Clues, Blues Clues, but I don't remember any other songs.
Yeah. With me and you and my dog Blue, we can do anything that you wanna do. But you gotta do your part.
You do gotta do your part. It works way better. There's a joke that I'm trying to remember it. There's this guy, and he's watching out his front window, right? And there's this truck coming down the road, and it's got all these trees in the back. And there's one guy driving, and there's 2 guys out with shovels, and one guy digs a hole, and the next guy just fills it back in, and they move down and they dig another hole and they fill it back in, and the guy goes out, he's like, I don't understand, like what's actually happening here? And they're like, oh, well, the guy who puts the trees in the hole didn't show up today. And so they're digging a hole and then just filling it, but the one guy who was supposed to put the tree in wasn't doing his part. And that's kind of like how it is with the universe. Like the universe is doing all this work for you, but if you don't actually do your part, then you don't necessarily plant the seed that's going to start to create that possibility. Ooh, look at that.
Yeah, see, we've got our first comments of the evening. Got one from Amber here.
Oops, sorry, I think you were clicking it at the same time as me. I'll let you.
Both after it.
Okay. So Amber says, hi guys, I received a big surprise after seeing you last Thursday, Hank. On the way home from HHH, my partner and I saw a dragon in the clouds, and then a rainbow formed and lightning struck out of it. Holy cow.
That's so cool. How's it getting any better than that? That's so
wow.
awesome.
That is amazing. And then and Sunday night, a kitten crawled up into my lap and then moved in with us. Well, congratulations on your kitten.
Wow.
And how
How
fun
cool is
is that that you see a dragon in the clouds, a rainbow, and a lightning? It's uh, what a
That's
auspicious time.
phenomenal. Amazing. Really cool. And how does it get any better?
See, I should totally take credit because she just did just get a session from me, but
Yeah.
I can't say I've gotten that feedback from all clients, so it might be a one-off thing that a dragon, rainbow, and a lightning bolt. But what would your experience be if you chose a session with me? Who knows? You can see in my office, I got all kinds of fun crystal bowls and gongs and all kinds of fun things to play with if you ever do come in for a session.
Yeah. I'd recommend checking it out. Hank's got some cool toys, if nothing else. You might even walk away with some new possibilities.
Possibly. And then we got Magic Mike chiming in, just saying hello, hello, Magic Mike.
Hey,
Thanks
Mike.
for joining us. But if any of you who are watching have a question or a comment or want to contribute in any way, feel free to make the comments. We'd love to kind of tailor the conversation to what's going on in your world. And one note on cats, if you didn't know, cats have this ability, they kind of walk between worlds. They are multidimensional, if you want to think of it that way, which is one reason why in magical workings they're often used as familiars and things like that, because they have a unique perception. So it's a great, ability to bond with a cat, and you kind of start gaining an awareness when they're aware of something, and you can be like, oh, what are you seeing right now? And you can use that as a tool to develop your own intuition. And Amber was saying, thanks, it really was cool. I definitely give you credit, Hank. You put that's right. I put a crystal dragon on her to work with her.
Whoa.
Oh,
Okay, now that is cool.
Yeah, this is Silka. She's a bloodstone agate crystal skull, and she wanted to work with Amber that session. I totally forgot about that. Very cool. And then we got some emoji dragons and unicorns from Magic Mike. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. Really like those unicorns and rainbows and dragons. Those are pretty fun.
What else is possible? No, that's not an invitation, Mike. You don't have to give us all kinds of additional emojis. We're good with
Here they come, flaming fireball poop emojis on their way.
Very cool. So, what else is on anyone's mind? Or Sean, where would you like to go with our little conversation? And just to mention too, I actually have a client at 8, so we're going to do a little bit of a shorter stream today. So we'll plan to wrap up like quarter till or 10 till to give us a little time.
7:45 probably.
Yep. So ask now. Or
short and sweet. Get your questions in. Or don't. It's your choice.
And I know Sean and I had talked about it. Were we sticking mainly to access tools on the streams, on Tuesday streams going forward for the second Tuesday, or is that starting like next time we do it?
We'll probably stick towards some of the more access consciousness type tools. So like we were talking about earlier, how does it get any better than this? What else is possible? Asking a question. These are all tools that Hank and I learned from a modality called access consciousness. If you're not familiar with access consciousness, as a modality, it's really a set of tools and then some hands-on processes that are designed to facilitate change and ease in your life. And it's something that I've been working with for, a little over 2 years now. And Hank, I think you've maybe been familiar with the modality a bit longer.
Boy, the time just blends in. Even though I might have been in it a little longer, I think you've gone further in terms of some of the core classwork, though. Because you've taken like the body class, and you've taken like energetic I can't say it. You say it.
Energetic synthesis of being.
Right.
We'll just put it in a banner for everybody.
But anyway, and so Sean's had more of those types of classes, and I, being the shaman, I went and took a lot of the classes around talk to the entities, where you learn how to communicate with entities, to contribute to your life, to help clear things, and just a whole different world of how you can even work with your spirit guides and things is all a subset specialty class of access, which I was just eyeballing all the wonderful specialty classes, and TTTE. And oh no, this is my facilitator one. I thought I had something else. Never mind. I thought I had my CFMW certificate here, but I don't. So I don't want to say it online, so we can't. We
Yeah.
can still be on.
Certifiable freaking miracle worker.
Someday,
Dang.
yeah, that's my favorite certificate.
So
I
if
don't put.
anyone asks, he's a certifiable freaking miracle worker.
So is
And
Sean.
I am too. They like to have fun with their certificates and stuff in Access, if only to get more chuckles out of people.
Yeah. And access consciousness, in a nutshell, the definition of consciousness for them is awareness of everything in the absence of a judgment. And all the tools around it are designed to free up all the places where you're limiting yourself or you're accepting someone else's limitation from stepping into your full potential and your full expression of the authentic you is really what it comes down to. So all the tools are kind of centered around that, from access bars to the body processes to how you work with entities. It's all about reducing the limitations and the judgments that would prevent you from receiving possibilities and contribution from the universe and the beings around you. Yep, it's Shannon O'Hara. Mike was just reminding me of who came up with that. So Shannon O'Hara is the creator of Talk to the Entities, and amazing, amazing work. It's my favorite Access class, of course.
Yeah. And if anyone hasn't seen Hank, Hank is he's also a practicing shaman, and I don't want to screw it up. There's a specific tradition that you follow, right?
Yeah, it's the Paco Cuna nature mystic tradition of South America.
So Hank liked to work with entities and spirits and all the fun little energetic beings to begin with. So of course, Talk to the Entities was like one more cool thing to add to the creation ship
Definitely.
or to play with. So
You know, you say creationship. I love that word. And one of the things they talk about, I think in the book, Relationships, Are You Sure You Want One? They talk about moving from being in relationship to everyone to being in creationship with everyone. So instead of relating to someone and recognizing them as something separate, recognizing that we're all part of the same divinity, the same animated essence, whatever word you want to use, start asking, what could I be in creationship to this? So you're working with everyone around you to create something instead of to relate to things. And it's a whole different world of possibilities when you start to do that, because you're no longer looking at yourself as separate.
yeah, and a tool like the creation ship or the wording behind creation ship, it's really in a lot of ways an invitation of what Access is about. Is it's about looking at energetically or what's really going on with relationships. And I think you have a question in there, is like, is a relationship, are you sure you want one? Is that really what you're going for? And it's a whole book and a whole series in Access by two great facilitators, Brendan Watt and Simone Milasas. Milasas.
I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
Yeah, and it was a really great book. Just some of the wording that you can get from books like that, and how it's such an invitation to the way Access presents material and in ways to maybe rethink or think differently about just how you can view and look at your life.
Definitely. And the way that your views change just with the way things can, well, one, removing the limitations, and then when you realize that from something that your parents might have said from when you were 3, that ever since that point you look through like shaded lenses. And the example that comes to mind is Dr. Dane here, who's one of the founders of Access. He was telling a story about when he was, I forget how old, but he was at like an amusement park, and he was really excited to go on either a merry-go-round or a Ferris wheel. I forget which.
He tells it as a merry-go-round. He's a little
Merry-go-round.
kid, really excited to go on this merry-go-round. It's got the horses and the ponies, and it's like got the cool sounds. Like, it's so excited.
Yeah, they really paid some amazing picture of it, and he's all excited. And then what does mom say? Now, honey, don't be afraid. And at that young of an age, he starts misassociating excitement with fear. And now looking at with those lenses, like, what if times in your life where you are afraid, you're misidentifying fear where it's really excitement. and how amazing, what would change if those lenses that were put on at that young age, where you start to misidentify fear, what if those lenses were suddenly gone and you were looking through the world again with the eyes of a child, not afraid of anything, like no preconceived notion about anything, just the excitement of experience. How much would change with that, And that's what we're referring to. Take off all those glasses and look through the world with the wonderment of a child and no points of view about anything because no one's taught you anything yet. How amazing would the world be? And what would you really choose to create? But I'm excited about that. In fact, that's an acronym for fear: feeling excited and ready.
Feeling excited and ready.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so afraid. I have so much fear. I'm so excited and ready.
Yeah. Next time you're afraid, be like, ooh, what am I excited about? What's possible here? Yeah. So, and where the real fear creeps up is when the ego freaks out, because it's like you're going to step into a new possibility and the ego goes, I don't know about that. We've never experienced that before. I don't know how it's going to turn out. And then you tell the ego to be quiet and you do it anyway.
Yeah, that is a pretty important kind of thing where, yeah, you got to be a bit courageous when you get that, as we were describing excitement or stepping into something new, you get this energy of like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. Oh, I might have to back down. This is too much. I don't know if I can handle it. And it's really interesting. And I encourage anyone, if you're making some of those choices in your life, to go for it. I mean, you're more courageous and daring than you probably ever thought possible. Take that step towards a possibility, a new possibility, towards something you've always dreamed of doing or would like to do, or maybe it's something simple, relatively simple, but it really feels like what it's going to bring to you is something amazing or fantastic. It doesn't have to be a huge, decision, but it could be small things. And it's like, yeah, go for it. Have some courage and step up and say, no, I really like this. This sounds really fun. I'm going to do it.
That's the thing. If you do the things that feel really fun in the bars video that Gary and Dane we show when we teach the class, they say that if you start choosing what makes it feel lighter and don't keep choosing things that make you feel heavier, you're going to experience more lightness in your life. And the more you laugh, the more lightness you bring in. So what if you started using that as your compass through life, that you only choose things that feel light, that you only choose things that feel fun, and start to really align yourself with everything that you're doing, that you're only bringing the lightness into your life. What would you be experiencing a year from now? How does your life feel if you put yourself out on a timeline 1 year from now, if you're only choosing things that are light and not things that are heavy? It's a whole different life at that point.
Yeah, if choosing for fun was your primary criteria, what would you choose?
Right. And there's things that we find fun and we're passionate about. And there's this thing in Access called glass ceilings. And
It's also in business.
Business, but what I'm referring to, one that might stick people a lot, is if things that you don't work hard for aren't worth having. These are things that are taught as little kids, and there's these little these things that get into your subconscious or your other than conscious, that even though you might consciously be trying to bring something into your life, that this little flow of energy from whatever age just stops you. You go up against this wall where you aren't willing to go past it for whatever reason. And because the core belief is, well, if I'm only choosing things that are fun, but I have the belief that you have to work hard in order to have abundance or whatnot, then that means that I can't have fun and have abundance together. And there's weird things like that energetically can play out oddly. And that's where tools from Access eliminate those beliefs that you don't even necessarily have to identify where it came from, but you use the tools to start processing it. So if you're like the question we started with, what else is possible? You can find yourself running into one of these things and not experiencing something in your life. Or what else is possible can start to free you up to have a different experience. I see you said hello. I saw 3 comments coming. I'm like, oh no, we're back up.
Yeah, I didn't realize I was going to do that. So we just said a hello. So, yeah. Hi, Renee.
Thank you for joining us.
0122.
So, what is on your guys' minds tonight? We would love to, if you have a question, if there's something in particular going on in your world that you want us to kind of speak to and give some tools around, that's where the magic of these broadcasts really happens. So, feel free to comment and ask a question if you'd like. No pressure, though.
Yeah, we'll kind of wait and see what's going on. Yeah, choosing for fun though, and what feels like it's going to really create something. What a gift you can give yourself just by choosing that. Give it a go. Give it a go once a day. Small thing that's like, no, I'm going to watch this episode of TV, or I'm going to have this piece of chocolate cake, or I'm going to go for a stroll. Like, it doesn't have to be crazy things, or I'm going to do the dishes after whatever, and just change it up, or just choose something that would just be fun. I mean, just one time. Could you do one? I bet you can't do one. You probably wouldn't do more.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if you do it just once and you see what your experience is, when something works, our inclination is to use it more. So, what if just opening the door to something small like that is what is needed to start changing the momentum of everything? Ooh. And it's that easy, creating an upward spiral of possibility.
An upward spiral of possibilities, you say?
Yeah, an upward spiral of possibilities. There's a echo in
here. I can see them. I can see them all around.
Just have to notice, Sean has really made his wall. When we first started doing these streams, there was like nothing behind him, and then there was just a whiteboard, and now there's all these fun, cool posters.
Yeah, we've got oh man, Scarlet Witch and red guy. I can't think of his name, and then you've got a whole bunch up here now, but they're all from the Marvel films. They're so fun.
And I don't know who many of those people are, ironically. I played like one game in high school, like a Marvel, like arcade game or something like that, but I don't remember much about the storyline or anything. That's okay.
Wow. They saved the world. Sorry, spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen Avengers.
Marvel is the same as Avengers. I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah, Marvel. Well, the Avengers are part of the Marvel franchise.
Got it. Well, I guess I did know a little bit about it then, but I didn't realize that they were the same. X-Men's different, right? Yeah.
Yeah, X-Men is owned by DC Comics.
It's hard to keep up with all of it. But
anyway,
it's
not that complicated.
An invitation I'd like to make for everyone, since we haven't gotten a question or a comment. Well, Mike's just saying X-Men. Oh, she was saying, this is for my first time watching you guys. What kind of questions do people normally ask? It can literally be about anything. If there's something going on in someone's life, if they're having difficulty somewhere, they might ask a question around that. But if you never know what question to ask, you could even ask a question to yourself, like, what question could I ask here that would create a change? And then see what question might come up to you. The one question we avoid is why.
Oh, yeah, so we could talk about that. The other thing with questions, it doesn't have to be a question. It can just be a comment. Maybe you've just got something that's up, or you had something cool you'd like to share. I know we had a nice contribution earlier with just something, somebody had happened. It was like, wow, it was really cool. Seeing dragons and stuff.
Yeah, dragon, a rainbow, and a lightning bolt right after.
Yeah. So it could be something that, maybe is going on that you just would like to share, or maybe there's something that's a little more maybe struggling with and you haven't had anywhere to kind of bounce it off anybody. Maybe, the folks around you or people around you aren't in the space of, you sharing sort of some things you're dealing or struggling with. And, it's a great time, great place to share something. And if we can't address it directly, Hank and I are both do private sessions and are happy to take questions offline. if you need a little bit more than what we can do on a live stream.
Yeah. But let's talk about why, since we brought it up, and then we'll move on to Mike's comment.
I don't know. Renee says she likes the Marvel movies. Yeah.
I haven't even watched one Avenger film yet.
I don't have them up here. I just got all of the first 23 films on DVD.
There's 23
Blu-ray.
films.
Yeah.
I got a lot to catch up on.
Yeah, the first 23. So, well, there's 4 Avenger films. So the Avengers are like a conglomerate of superheroes. So, they have like, I think 6 or 7 individual superhero films before they form the Avengers. Yeah.
All right.
And all the movies tie together. It's really cool.
I got some catching up to do, apparently.
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
Now you need to watch them, and you can watch them in release order, or even better, you can look up how to watch them in cinematic order, so that the timeline of the universe is like you follow the timeline of the universe, because the films are at least a little bit out of sync with when events are happening in the Marvel universe. So
I don't know. That could go either way. Are you familiar with the books Chronicles of Narnia by chance? You probably have heard of it.
Yeah, I am, by C.S. Lewis.
Right. And when I read them originally, they were in a different order. And then there's an order where you could read them chronologically. But it was kind of cool, like when you start with Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe in a way later book.
Then the Silver Chair, and then Prince Caspian, and then.
But if you read them in the order that they were written in versus like chronological order, like you have these like little, oh my gosh, that makes sense now. Where if you had read that book first, the mystery would have been gone from the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So I don't know. Maybe there's something to be said for watching it how it was released and not like the chronological thing. I don't know.
Just a thought, just something I'm throwing out there, tossing it out your way, throwing it out there as a possibility.
I'll see
asking you a question. Yeah.
So that's the question I would ask.
What sounds more fun?
What's more fun, watching it in the order they were created or released, or watching it in timeline? And then I could do that. Whatever feels lighter is what's going to create the most for me. So
or watching them in random order.
Or watching them in random order. I'll just roll a dice and see which one comes up, and like, okay.
Or just choose the one that sounds the most fun first.
Yeah, perhaps. Well, I guess I did see a Spider-Man one, so I think that's Marvel, right?
And they are fun to watch individually. It's not like you have to watch them in order. You just get you get all the tie-ins if you kind of watch them as a whole. But they're all one-off films, so it's not like you really need to be a fan. So you could go watch Thor or Ant-Man. So, anyways, I think we were going to talk a little bit about the word why and the question why. Yeah. Why are we going to talk about that?
Because we're telling people to ask questions, but the one question that you don't ask, which is sometimes the question people go to first, is why? Why me? Why is this happening, universe? Why does it have to be this way? Asking a question of why, it creates a loop. It basically, if you're asking why, the universe gives you or brings to you another experience where you have the same set of circumstances pop up, and it cements in what's happening. So it's a question to avoid because it's a victim question. It's a looping question that just creates a cycle versus a new possibility, is how I would explain it.
Yeah, we talk about questions creating possibilities, and really what you want is a new possibility or a different possibility. So when we're asking what else is possible, energetically we're demanding of the universe, show me what else can happen here. When we go to why, the universe, because you ask it, you demand of it why, you're asking for an explanation, so it shows you everything that had to happen for you to have the thing occur. So you kind of get into this cycle where maybe it's a little bit different this time around, but you end up kind of on this treadmill where it doesn't feel like you're progressing. And really what you need to do is ask kind of a different question to get yourself out of that kind of looping or treadmill that the why can happen, which is kind of strange because we're always taught to ask why, always wonder, right? Science Channel, being scientific, why does that happen? And then we follow the clues. But you usually ask a few more questions along the way when you're doing science.
But if you're stuck in why, what would happen if you asked instead of why, universe, what would create a different possibility here? And seeing what showed up in your life. And there's a huge, just even saying that question has a huge lightness, at least for my experience when I say it. What else, what could I do differently, or what could I be to create something different, is a totally different energy of why me? Because in a way, you're asking the universe to co-create with you to create something different. Now we got all kinds of stuff we could bring up, Sean. Where do we want to go first here?
Well, let's just go in order of the. So that's the tool that Question Hank was talking about.
Oh, well, look at you, Mr. Bannerman.
I'm on it now.
Well, one thing that was coming up in Mike's world, and then we'll get to Renee's comment. He was
And
saying
thank you
that,
so much for sharing, everyone. It really makes the stream so much more fun.
yeah, Mike's saying, and Mike does a lot of people interaction in terms of doing driving and delivering things.
Yeah.
So he's saying constantly, people are constantly tired. A lot of the people that he's interacting with are saying. Any thoughts around that?
Mostly questions. So what's going on, with people being tired? I could go crazy person mode, but just ask, what's up with that? Is there something I can contribute to change, changing that? What contribution can I be as having the space of maybe being energetic, so people know that there's something different that they could choose. What invitation do I have to having some untiredness, maybe?
And
And who does this belong to?
I didn't mean to
Yeah.
click it yet. I jumped the gun. I see you have Sean blew my world open today because I gave him access to the board, and then there's like you can make folders for the banners for each show, and like I didn't know you could do that. So like he went in and made all these things ready to go for us. So it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you could do this. So it changes my life. But if you're really tired or run down, one question, especially since we have so many empaths in the world, who does it belong to? Are you even picking up on your own tiredness or your own fatigue, or are you being so aware of the strain that everybody else is in the world, and you're just being aware of it, and all you would have to do is send it back to sender with consciousness?
Yeah. Yeah, that's another good question. Yeah, if you're feeling tired, or you're just kind of feeling maybe cranky or angry, and you're like, what the heck? Like what? Like I just woke up, or I just had my morning coffee. Like I'm really like, what do I have to be angry about? It's like, well, have you looked at asking, is it yours, or is it like, is it your neighbors? And like, to some extent, it's like when you go to a music concert, right? You kind of get this energy of the music concert from everybody else, all the excitement and stuff. Well, it's kind of the same when people are crabby and cranky. It's like it kind of rubs off a bit. It's like my cranky, rubs off on whoever. And sometimes we don't recognize that as much as it works with excitement, it also works with sadness and frustration and anger, that we can pick up on that stuff too. So sometimes we just got to ask, who does this belong to? Is this really mine?
Or the question is, what could I choose here to create a different possibility? And whatever your options are, see if they feel light or heavy. Is it how much sleep I'm getting? Is it too much sleep? Is it too little sleep? Some people actually get too much sleep, and that makes them feel more tired because they're waking up in a part of, not in the most ideal part of their sleep cycle. Or is it well, I can't think of another question, but you get the idea. You start at you pick whatever the options might be. Is it something I'm eating? Is it something, do I need to bring something else in my life? Do I need to meditate, which is a segue into our next comment in the moment? And maybe there's different things that you could ask, and you would feel, what does it create in you? Does it feel light, or does it feel heavy? Whatever feels the lightest is the thing that you want to pay attention to, because maybe that is what you could do to help the universe create for you a different possibility. And that is the segue to Renee's comment. Boom. I've been meditating a lot lately, something I am new at. I find myself more connected to nature and myself. I have found so much freedom. I have found such freedom and peace. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Way cool.
And
Way cool. Thank you
the
for sharing.
nature part is especially important. I feel like getting out into nature is just being connected to that is a great place just to, I don't know, it's almost like when you walk through nature, it brushes off all the stuff that's not yours by default because it's just you out in the woods. You're not in the normal environment, in your normal routine, and it just helps all that stuff melt away. And Amber was saying she's been meditating too. Awesome, awesome. That's one thing I'm thinking about Access. Do they give any, I don't remember anything about meditation really in Access. Do they use that as a tool somewhere that I'm not remembering?
No, Access, I know they mentioned a little bit about it um, in some things, but it's really not a modality where um, they talk a lot about meditation.
Well, personally, I do like meditating. There's one passage in a book. Well, we'll talk about it next week on Conversations of God. If you want to find out a really cool thing about meditation, you'll have to tune in next Tuesday, and I'll read my favorite quote from Neil Donald Walsh in regards to meditation. So you'll have to stop in for that. And let's see.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
seeing some comments in the chat here.
yeah, they're like chatting with each other. Should we bring them up? Well, we can definitely bring them up. I mean, it's fair game. Do you ladies want us to bring these up and kind of speak to what's going on? Or
Maybe
if
we'll
you're,
ask the audience. Yeah.
yeah, before we like pull comments up and then it's like
Yeah.
on the stream forever.
Yeah. I would invite anyone who's listening, you know, in terms of as an invitation to access consciousness, I would invite anyone on the stream to get an access bar session done. Really amazing tool in terms of releasing old thought patterns and energies. Um, just a really phenomenal 30, 60, 90-minute sessions. You can choose. And it's just a great way to release, especially when we're at a point where we're just ready. We're just ready to change. We're like, okay, enough of this. Like, I just want it all to go away. And it's just like, go get your bars on, or would you like to come get your bars on? Total contribution. Myself and Hank are both practitioners, and there's a few others up at Holistic Health and Healing that also practice. But definitely invitation. If it's a private session, or Hank just shared in the chat, once a month, which will be like in August now. The first Thursday in August will be our next public share night where you can come and experience the bars. So I'd invite anyone looking for some change or something different, or a way to release their energies, to check out Access Bars.
Yeah. And the way that we're doing the clinic is there's never more than 10 people in the center at a time. There's a scheduler, and you go in and you pick your time slot. And we only open as many slots as we have for practitioners. And so if we had 5 practitioners, we would allow 5 people in at a time. If we only have 3 practitioners, it would be 3 clients. So we minimize that and take all the precautions and everything. But if you are more mindful about being in a group setting, to Sean's point, all of us do private sessions as well. And yeah, so check that out. And then if you happen to be a practitioner, we have a practitioner share night, which is a lot of fun too, which is
Which
a
is
great
Thursday.
set of, yeah. So even if you don't want to be a practitioner, if you become a practitioner, you can just hang out on practitioner night and just do trades with people, even if you don't want to be a healer. And that's always a good reason to get bar certified, even if you don't want to be a healer.
Yeah. And it's absolutely terrible to come to trade night because you have to deal with Hank and I all night, and we're no fun. We don't tell any jokes.
No, no jokes at all.
we
And
don't
then
we don't have any fun. We don't come out feeling like anything has changed. It's definitely not the
no.
event for you. Just totally awful.
Yeah, and I may or may not be known to bring toys from my office out into the main room and do non-access things. So I will deny it if ever asked publicly by an access person. Right? No, but we it's really laid back and a lot of fun. Sometimes we even have like a Zoom with a CF, certified facilitator in access, and that's always a lot of fun too. Never know what will happen on those.
Yeah, we might have some more access events coming up in September and later this year. Ooh, how much fun can we have?
Depends which class it is. Yeah. But there is a lot of good stuff with that, and check it out. Definitely, just getting your just getting your bars run once
Getting your
ahead.
bar session is just.
Well, just to share, maybe I'll edit the email and we'll read this on air once. I had a gentleman who came for a bar session to one of the free nights, and he had just been blown off by friends, and he shared afterwards in this email he had been contemplating suicide and all this stuff. He came for a bar session because he figured, well, it's better than going home. My friends blew me off. I'm going to just check out this bars thing, and came in really with no expectations or any thoughts as to what he may or may not receive from it. Had a 30-minute bar session, and then I get this huge email about how that one session his mind was quieted. It completely changed his life. Not only was he not thinking about suicide anymore, he was asking himself, like, what could I do to contribute to the world? It was like a total 180 from one little bar session. And that's where they say with bars is worst case scenario, you'll feel like you had a great massage. Best case scenario, your whole life can change. And that guy is an example, an amazing example of how everything changed for him from one little session from the clinic. So what else is possible with that? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what would it be like if you chose to get your bars run, even if you have no idea what it is?
Yeah, and we are getting a final chance for a comment or question because I do have a client at 8, so I'll have to set up and get ready for that. I wonder if they go home and they see a dragon cloud, a rainbow, and a lightning bolt, then I'll know I'm onto something. We'll see. But
Yeah, or even if they don't.
Yeah, or even if they don't. Everybody's session's different. I believe people really show up with what they're willing to receive. That kind of guides a session. And as a healer, we kind of ask the question, what space could we hold that would let them step into a space where they're willing to receive even more than when they showed up? And you're just holding the space and see what happens.
Holding space like a star?
Sure.
Like a asteroid?
Why not? No, we have Amber. I think she was saying thanks to something else, but we'll pull it up here since we're kind of wrap up mode. So we'll say thank you, Amber. You're welcome. And now she says, haha. Oh, that's great. But thank you, everyone, for coming out for the stream today.
Really great to see everyone today and seeing everyone in the future stream that was watching this on replay.
Yeah, and if you're watching on a replay, still ask questions, preferably on the YouTube link. There's a YouTube link, I think, for almost everywhere where it was posted, because we'll see those, we'll get notifications when it comes through, and we can bring those questions up on the next stream. So even if it's on a replay, make a comment. If you're going to go back and rewatch the beginning because you missed the beginning, feel free to share it or do a watch party and help spread the contagion of consciousness. That's one reason that the Access logo, if you look, see this little dandelion thing? What you know how dandelions they have when they get white and that you blow them and it has little seeds, that it's all about spreading the seeds of consciousness. And that's where the logo came from, and really the meaning behind it is what could you do to help spread the contagion of consciousness, help spread what contribution could you be? And if you don't think you could be, what if it was as simple as sharing this video so that more people could have these tools? So thank you for your contribution.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's been a lot of fun, and I personally hope to see you next week or again in the future.
Absolutely. We'll catch you next time. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.